Welcome to Weeks Ahead AI, where business owners learn how to use AI to save time, cut costs, and stay weeks ahead.
Can AI really save your business 200 man hours a week? That's what we're going to talk about today on Weeks Ahead AI. Welcome back to another episode. We're really excited to have our guest, Jeff Edwards, who has done that. He's using AI actively, probably getting as much out of it as any business owner we've met so far. So excited to sit down and talk to you about it today.
Appreciate it. Good to be here.
Andy feels like he's at the tip of the iceberg of it too.
Yeah.
He kind of
Just getting started.
getting started.
I think he claimed he really didn't know what he was doing with
I
AI.
don't. So learning.
So
That's why I'm here.
Jeff, you're the founder of Staff My Agency,
Correct.
and you work primarily with insurance agencies, helping them recruit other agents to come work in their office.
Correct. Yep.
And you've been doing that for how long?
2008, roughly. But it's changed a lot over the years in how I do it.
And how did you get into it?
My father-in-law was a State Farm agent in Flower Mound, and worked for him. And he was an unusually large agent, and I was a little naive to it. He had about 15 to 20 staff at his largest, and he was always looking to hire, constant. But he didn't really know how to turn on a computer either. So he had me doing that, and that's where I realized, he needs a better way than just posting a job here and there. And so we started doing resume sourcing, which was actively going out, and pulling resumes back that matched keywords that he was interested in. And then he told other agents about what I was doing for him, and kind of started that way. And it was very manual back then.
Weren't planning to get into that when you were in college.
No.
Like, this is what I want to do.
No, I was not all. I mean, I always wanted to do. I thought about doing State Farm Agency. That was my
Yeah.
focus, but I always wanted to do my own thing. And so it took a turn when he told his other agent friends, like 5 agents, like, "Hey, can you do this for me?" And I was like, "Do all agents need this?" And he was like, "Absolutely." So that's when I went that direction.
Born out of a need. I'm always fascinated to just talk to business owners and what they do and how they got certain why, and just the wide variety of
What
different
problem?
businesses.
What
are out
problem are you solving? And you solve a problem.
there. Yeah,
So
that's cool.
And so we're going to get into how you save 200 hours a week of time, which you didn't jump into that because you wanted to get rid of people. You were trying to get a better answer.
Yep.
But 2008, when you started, you had the first computer in your office, more or less, it sounds like, right?
Yeah, and crazy enough, I mean, I threw together a website that was based 2 pages.
And what'd you build that on back then?
I didn't build it. Okay. I had a guy that
Yeah.
I just needed to say this. It was very basic. And the simplicity of what I was doing back then was sourcing resumes and just emailing them to agents. So they would just have resumes in their inbox a couple times a week.
Yeah.
There was no database. There was no hosting of a website for them to log into. It was very simple. But as I was like, I can't scale this, doing this manually for more than 20 agents. And so and I found a program back then. AI would have made it a lot easier, but I found a program back then that allowed me to create searches, save them, and it would run automatically and email the agents these resumes. And I did that for about 3 to 4 years.
Some early automation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. But then I was like, agents were asking me, well, do you have a way to store these resumes? They're just in my email. So then I was like, I got to get a little bit more serious about this and create basically a functioning applicant tracking system that can also post jobs and do more than just resume sourcing.
So you built a platform.
I'd say I built. I had it built. But yeah, we had a custom applicant tracking system.
Look, this is a lot of people listening are like, I couldn't build this. So it's fine that you can't, or I can't. I can't either. Mitch can. Terry,
I got ideas. And
That's
find
right.
people to do it.
And that's where it really starts. That's what we really want people thinking about what's possible.
Yep.
And then reach out to us or or others in your network that can actually help you
That
make
help,
it happen.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So do you see that need, that staffing need, obviously still exists today? How's it different?
I mean, it's in the insurance business, it's constant. And that's where the niche I'm in, it's like they have a constant need because the nature like of an insurance agency, they typically have 3 to 5 staff, but there's a lot of turnover in their world. And so in my pitch, a lot of agents, and it may surprise you, and other business owners are probably this way, they have their 5 staff people, they think life is good, they don't need to hire, and then someone doesn't show up on a Monday morning. And so, and my father-in-law, what I learned from him, because he was always looking to hire, whether he met somebody at, the bank teller he liked, or he met wherever, church.
Right.
He was always like, this person, they'd be a great fit in my office.
Yeah.
And so he had that mindset. Most agents did not. And so they were coming to us fairly in a urgent hire mode. And hiring out of urgency typically leads to bad hires. So we're trying to educate, and we're still doing that. It's crazy. 15 years later, we still deal with agents that come to us because somebody quit and they're in a world of hurt. But a lot of agents get it, and they're like, I need to recruit ongoing all the time. And that's what our system is focused on, is helping them get ahead of it, hire good people when they come available versus waiting for the need.
And so you're putting job postings out for them, you're collecting resumes, and then you're sending them resumes.
Yep.
And then you also have a service where you can kind of rank the resumes for them and say, of the 50 or 60 applicants that I got you this month, these are the 3 that match what you're looking for the best, right?
Right. And that's what we, in the past year or so, building this AI into it, because we have different levels of our service, and we do job postings. We source passive resume. People can go on different websites and load a resume, hoping an employer recruiter sees them and reaches out. And so a lot of applicant tracking systems are just job postings. Post a job, I call it post and pray. You hope people apply. You sit and wait. So I was like, you got to be more proactive than that. You can't just post a job and wait. You can go source resumes too. People that may not know of your opening, but they may be the right candidate for you. But it's more of a cold outreach.
Right.
But with that, some of our accounts are higher paying customers that are high volume. We can load 50, 60 resumes a day into their account, and it can be a manual frustration for them to go in and review those resumes and try to pick ones out that are relevant. Our system tries to load in, and that's another thing that I think AI could help with, is to eliminate some of the junk, because Boolean search is what the typical way to do it. You put in keywords and it goes reads a resume and pulls that resume based on that keyword.
Right.
Where that resume may have that keyword in a reference, and it's not relevant, but it'll still pull it. So AI can help eliminate some of the junk, but then also score the resume based on what we've told it. Like, here is the type of candidate we want to see, and then it can score it. And that's what we were using some screeners for.
And so you were paying people 200 hours a week to screen these resumes, and you didn't come in and say, okay, how do I use AI to get rid of these 200 hours? Your goal was, how do I use AI to get better results? Because you weren't happy with what the screeners were giving.
Right. And actually, we had stopped doing the screeners prior to me deciding to go at it with AI. I mean, we were using them, but they just weren't understanding fully the type of resume. It just wasn't working well. And so we had kind of ended that and told our recruiters, and the main focus of it, I mean, it's for all customers, but the driver for us was we have recruiters that come alongside some of our higher plans that customers can choose. And we have recruiters that come alongside and help them. Those recruiters were getting bogged down by going through these resumes. And so that's why we hired the screeners, to help alleviate our recruiters' time. But it wasn't working, so we kind of let that go. And that's when I met with y'all, and I was like, I got to figure out how to have AI score these resumes and categorize them, in their system.
So how were you introduced to AI, and when?
I mean, it's probably, I got to give some credit to Josh, and Mitch, because Mitch is telling Josh, and Josh, he will admittedly say that he's not computer savvy.
Yeah.
He's like, Mitch is into this AI, and you got to figure this out. And and I've grown my company, and it's doing well, but I'm also like, I can't just expect it to continue to do well.
Right.
There's going to be a competitor that comes up with some AI tool that's, the next.
Don't be
best
complacent.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, I need to figure this out and figure out ways to use it, and not just to say we use AI, but actual benefits to the customer and our recruiters to make their jobs more efficient. And so, it's been really in the past year that we've been implementing it. But I mean, in even recent months, I'm just like, there's so much more it could do. So,
Yeah, we were talking before the show, and kind of the common thing with all of this is you're sort of limited by your imagination. And that's what's fun about having roundtable talks and with other business owners is just, opening up your mind to what's possible.
yeah.
And really, you had a desired outcome that you wanted.
Yeah.
And then you took the approach of, how do I get AI to help me get that outcome? Use your developer.
Yep.
And you more or less got your developer motivated to understand and learn AI, right? Because he hadn't done a lot with it at that point.
Yeah, he had not. I mean, he had some understanding. And I also, kind of have to tread lightly. I'm like, I'm not trying to replace you.
Yeah.
I need your help. But we have to get AI functioning in our program, at a level that helps our customers. So, but he's on board, and I have to focus on, basically rank what we want AI to do and start just knocking them off one at a time. But in the past month, I've come up with so many more ways we can use AI.
So when you rank those, how are you thinking about it? Are you thinking what saves me the most time, or what gives me access to something that I'm not offering today?
It probably changes. My first thought was, how can we make it easier on our customers? And a lot of our customers are not, just, I'd say internet said, they're not, they not hand holding's the wrong word.
They sell insurance.
They don't want to come in and see all this stuff and just have to start weeding through it. We want to make it simpler for them to come in and say, okay, here's 5 top candidates. I'm going to reach out to them first. That was the initial. And when I came and met with y'all a year ago, my whole thought process was just, let's start with scoring resumes. I hadn't really gone beyond that in my head. But then lately I've realized, AI can do a lot for us behind the scenes in our systems, or whether it's customer service, sales. It could do a lot more than what we're doing.
Well, and like so you got rid of the 200 hours a week you were spending because you just weren't happy with the results, but you knew it could help your business. You bring AI in, and now that function is back involved in your business. And you made a comment earlier that was great. That was like, just because I put AI in, it wasn't magic instantly.
Yep.
And you made a comment that it's still learning.
Right.
And so you're having to teach AI as you give it a job. It's not day one, it's great. You're teaching it over the course of several months how to read better.
And it's continuously learning. I mean, the idea is, and we've told our recruiters, because our customers don't always give us feedback when they make a hire.
Right.
We don't always know. But our recruiters, if they're coming alongside and they have a good candidate that they've submitted for an interview or they get hired, I'm like, we need to mark those. And so in our system, there's like a typical applicant tracking system. You can mark a candidate, you liked, you hired, or whatever it may be. And so AI is using that tag to pull that resume. Okay, this is a good candidate that we need to continuously learn off of.
Yep.
This is the idea.
And you now have that kind of nailed. And the other thing that you do is you've done a ton of LinkedIn automation in the past, kind of leading you to this. And with that background, that's going to be helpful. And, explain what you do on LinkedIn for people.
For some of our plans, we integrate LinkedIn where we're sending invites that go out to, we run a search first on LinkedIn for potential profiles that we feel are relevant.
You're manually doing that search? Or
Well, Yes. Right now we're manually like going into LinkedIn, running, and say it pulls up 1,000 profiles that
Okay.
match experience. Then we pull those profiles in and send invites. If they connect, then it sends a follow-up message to them. It's not to the point where it's going to respond. If they respond, and read that, it doesn't do that.
Yeah.
But typically how we set up now is if they respond, then the customer's notified, just like you are in LinkedIn when
Right.
you get a message and the customer takes
But it gets that first.
It gets it
initial-
going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he did it. So Jeff did this for our dumpster business
Mm-hmm.
over at AMA, and Josh and Jeff are good buddies. And Josh,
So
I
that's
think
this
Jeff
Josh
helped.
guy
That's this
is your
Josh
partner.
guy. Yeah. And
Hey, Josh.
By the way, Mitch is the Al Gore of AI. I mean, everything leads back to
I don't
points
know
back.
about that.
Everything points back to Mitch and AI. No.
I guess I need to say there's doom and gloom coming there. But essentially, we wanted to get in front of builders, and what's the easiest way for us to do that? And Jeff set us up and automatically started sending invites out to builders that we weren't working with yet, and probably sends 20 messages a day, and most of them we don't get a response on, but it's one of those scenarios where all it takes is one.
Sure.
And sure enough, we land in someone's inbox. He's like, yeah, I want to talk. Like, how do we get this across the finish line? What do we need to do? Like, well, let's set up a call. And for that particular builder, we had 1 or 2 subdivisions for them. They go into our system, and Josh answers the phone and calls me. He's like, hey, this dude just called me. Said you guys have been talking about dumpsters. I'm like,
Yeah.
a little bit, but not really deep. He's like, well, he said y'all were talking on LinkedIn, and you responded to one of his messages and said, give us a call. And that was him calling me. And now we're in 7 or 8 subdivisions with that builder. And
That's
it's-
awesome.
Yeah.
It's truly a game of send out 100 and hope that 2 people come back to you, right? But if you're not sending out the 100, the 2 are never going to respond. And so if you're in a business where you just need leads so that you can have a chance to sell them, like that is a problem that Jeff solved for us. And it's not
Cool.
even AI native, it's more automation that he has set up. But I could see that piece of your business could grow significantly too, utilizing AI.
So you sell insurance too? Your dumpster and insurance, or how did he decide to work for you?
They asked me. Well, Josh, Josh had worked for me in the past, and we had done some stuff on LinkedIn. So Josh, he knew about what it could do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Is it true that you made him call you daddy?
That's just for you, Josh. Wow. Well, yeah, and that I think when we were talking before the show, you're like, well, that's not AI, that's more automation. And you're right, but so many people we're talking to, I mean, they're kind of, these things are just blending together a lot, and they're certainly cousins at least.
They are.
But automation can make a huge impact on businesses.
Absolutely.
If you're not even doing AI stuff, just some of this.
I mean, without the automation initially, when I started this, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
I had to have some automation to scale it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I wonder too if you mentioned earlier that you don't always get feedback from these agencies. What did this hire that I ranked really high? Did they work out?
right.
And you wonder if AI can help. That follow up procedure, automate that process to follow up and get you feedback that maybe you
absolutely.
don't get today.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I am contractually obligated to give Josh a positive shout out. But one thing that is great about Josh, so Josh is the founder of the business, didn't know anything about AI, but he did see that, okay, if it can help, let's hit the button. And so just saying, hey, just go do something, like that's not a bad strategy right now. Like,
Right.
just go do something, get
He
started.
wasn't scared.
Yeah. And that's where, and then him having the connection to Jeff and, hey, Jeff can help us with this and let's go. Like, it made a difference and not a small difference. Like, it was a fairly big difference for us. And it just took really hitting the button. And the worst thing you do if you hit the button is it doesn't work.
Right.
So, Jeff, we have a lot of people telling us, I know it can help my business, but I really don't know where to get started. I think you sort of felt that way when we met a year ago.
I did.
And maybe to some degree you still feel that
Yeah.
way. Like, what's next and where do I go? But I think you had a developer that you were already working
Yeah,
with,
I have a
which gave you a
developer.
little bit of a head start.
Yeah. he's been working with me, and he's a foreign developer that's been working with me for 15 years almost, probably. And he's he's done really well for me. And so I just told him, we've got to get AI implemented. I don't really know how, but let's start with this idea of, the screening issue was what was really pressing for us. So that's where he started. But it can go so much beyond that.
So I think that's a big hurdle for some people is like, okay, I know it can help me, and I know that there's all these tools out there, but who can I hire to actually come in and help me? And you had a developer, so you were able to go to him and leverage that 15-year relationship.
Yep.
And if there are listeners that need that, reach out to us, because we have some, we have some connections there that we can help with. But the big thing is you're not scared.
Yeah. I know we have to do it, or be left behind. So.
And you've got another unique strategy where you've got a son that's in college, and your goal right now is how do you get him trained for AI?
Yeah. I think that's where he could really jumpstart his career when he gets out of college and hit the ground running.
Absolutely.
So is it fair to say, like, be eager to hire the 23-year-old kid coming out of school that is just aggressive and let them start figuring problems out for you?
They're going to learn it a lot faster than I can.
Yeah.
I think every business that wants to really make it, they need somebody inside the organization that can be the champion or really know how to actually do some of this stuff, build some of these things, or at least how to communicate it to the right developer. So kind of the internal AI czar, And so, I think your son's on the right track there.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a summer intern, we know a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's ready to roll.
I'm looking for one.
If we don't get him first.
All right. Well, anything else that you want to pass on to people of how to understand AI?
I was curious, Jeff, when for just the insurance industry in general. You're helping agencies hire agents. Are you seeing anything where the agents might be kind of going away, or AI starting to replace that, or how are you thinking of that?
For years we've heard like our agent's going to go away, and I don't see it. I don't see. Not anytime soon.
Yeah.
Because we deal with like farmers. State Farm's a huge customer of ours. Farmers district managers are a customer that pays a premium for our recruiters, and they're wanting to put on more agents than ever.
Okay.
So
it's that human connection. I feel like that AI is going to have a hard time.
And it's a licensed position, right?
Yep.
So anytime there's a license attached to something, you can't necessarily just replace it with a computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would think a human agent though, using AI that may be thinking about how to use AI in what they're doing should be able to do more business. So maybe it's a little reduction of. It sounds like that's not what's happening right now, but I can see at some point in the future.
It certainly could. Just like for my program, it's like I think even from a recruiter standpoint, there's so much AI could do to allow them to handle more customers.
Yeah, exactly.
And allow us to grow. But same for these agents, they could do a lot of sales strategies using AI, which is what we're trying to get into next. So.
Well, just these stats we have up here, Terry, that screams stuff that you would just be so excited about.
Yeah. Well,
what are your 2 or 3 favorite stats that you would point out to people?
Well, the average cost of a bad hire. I feel like I'm the king of this. I've had plenty of experience in making bad hires over the years, but no, it's a real expense, and the average cost of a bad hire is $17,000. So, I'm pretty sure you could justify. You could make a good case for your business.
And it makes. I would love to dig into that stat. Is like were those hires made due to urgency? Probably so. A lot of them,
or not having the right resume at the top, which is the first problem you solved. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So you're solving a $17,000 problem for what, $800?
I think for me in my past, it was exactly that. I didn't have an ongoing recruiting process, and so trying to hire on demand, you're subject to what's available at the time.
And we get a lot of agents who, because they're in an urgent situation, they're like, we need to hire someone with State Farm experience. this week. I'm like, good luck.
Yeah.
You know, that's not going to happen. That really good candidate might come across when you don't necessarily have the need, but you need to consider hiring them when they.
So a bad hire costs $17,000, and then there's the whole speed of being able to hire them, which even though you can't hire them in a week, you're still speeding that up.
Yep.
And instead of maybe taking 7 weeks, you can potentially get it done in 3.
Yep.
And so it just all of a sudden it turns into what you do is worth $40,000 a year to an agency that's hiring one person, right?
That's true. Yeah.
So the other thing that jumps off the page here is 93% of recruiters plan to increase their usage of AI. And so, yeah, it's a race, right? And you said it.
Absolutely.
Like it's how can I stay a step ahead of the competition?
And,
Weeks ahead.
and
Weeks
you've got
ahead.
you've got a separate business that you're also building to where it's
Yep.
beyond just insurance agents, and it's locatehire.com.
Yep.
And basically you want to help whatever your business category is,
Yeah.
help people
Because we've
recruit.
noticed, you know, we've had agents, our insurance customers have referred us to pool companies, janitorial services. We've had different customers come use us, but our Staff My Agency is so insurance focused that we created basically a sister site for other businesses outside of insurance.
Yeah.
Different price point. So.
That's awesome.
And so if you're someone out there right now trying to figure out should you be hiring, is the right metric for them to figure out like what is their profitability per employee, and if you had another person in that role, it's going to bring you this much back. Like what's the trigger for them?
Yeah, I mean, if they could determine their current employees and the value they bring, I mean, if you a good employee, and I, it's funny, you know, for years I had one employee, and I would preach to my customers, you need to hire and grow, and I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
You know, and so then you know, and it's one of those things. It's like, am I wasting money? Is this going to work? But it's changed my company completely. You know, hiring sales rep and some recruiters. I mean, we've tripled revenue in the last 3 years. So hiring the right people changes everything.
Yeah,
Really does.
that's great. So give Jeff a call,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
What's
You need good
what's
people.
the website again?
Staffmyagency.com and locatehire.com.
That's it.
And his personal cell phone is 911.
Give him
411.
Give him Josh's cell phone number.
Jeff, this has been great. Really appreciate you
Appreciate it.
jumping in here.
Thank
And
y'all for
it is
having me.
impressive what you've done already, and I know,
Thank you.
like you said earlier, just scratching the surface here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, congrats on the success.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Jeff.
it.
Well, we appreciate all of our listeners joining us again for another episode of Weeks Ahead. Again, reach out to us if you're kind of thinking, how in the world do I do this? Where do I start? Let's see if we can help you. We'd love to be a resource for you. Till next time, stay Weeks Ahead.